Hi everyone, my name is Monique Sosi, and today I am presenting on student engagement and persistence. So here we go. Oh, how do sorry. Okay, there we go. So in this presentation, I will be covering my problem of practice, my research questions, context and participants, my innovation, the theories that I implemented or focused on, and then questions and opportunities. So here we see my problem of practice starting off here. A little bit of background, I work with Starbucks students that attend ASU online. My research, I am focusing on student engagement with first-generation college students. So first-generation college students are individuals that come from families where their biological parent did not complete a four-year degree. And these students are less likely to complete a bachelor's degree. And here my problem of practice is here, despite the outreach strategies used by success coaches at EdPlus at ASU, student engagement continues to decline with the Starbucks first generation college students, along with students being unsuccessful their first year and not persisting to the next semester. Here you see the pie chart. This data was taken from ASU researchers that have looked at student engagement with EdPlus specifically. So the pie chart shows a total of 11 teams and a total of 12,069 students were monitored for student engagement since June 29th, 2022. So each color represents a different team here at EdPlus, and every team works with a specific cohort of students. And as you can see here, the teal color has the lowest amount of student engagement. It's at 2.6. I wasn't focusing too much on that part or mentioning it too much because that's a reentry team, and that team focuses on helping students that are not enrolled in ASU getting back on track. So they're not active students, they're just doing outreach to students that are no longer enrolled at ASU. So I didn't really focus on that. So that little teal 2.6 didn't focus there, but on the rest of the team, so there's 10 teams there, and you can see the dark green area, the area that is 7.4%, that is the Starbucks team. That's the Starbucks team I am on. It's the lowest out of all the teams of student engagement. And also ASU researchers have stated that students that engage with their success coach are 40% more likely to persist. In other words, enroll in the upcoming semester. And also first generation college students are 5% less likely to engage with their success coach. George D. Koo was the chancellor professor of higher education and was the director of Indiana University Center for Post-Secondary Research. Koo conducted a study in 2008 that focused on the relationship between students and the institution to examine if the relationship fostered student success. The study examined student engagement with the institution and reviewed two outcomes, of course, academic achievement and persistence. Here we are. Okay, and then here are my research questions. I developed a few research questions during this, and those are, one, how do Starbucks first generation college students engage with their success coach? Two, how do first generation college students develop academic resilience during their first semester asynchronous? And three, how do higher levels of student engagement influence Starbucks first generation college partners' self-efficacy? And four, what factors motivate Starbucks first generation college students to engage with their success coach in asynchronous learning? So there's that. I'm going to go to the next slide here. Okay, so here is the context and the participants. So for the context in cycle 0, I focused in higher education, specifically Ed Plus at ASU. For cycle 1, I will still focus on higher education and the same setting. And for cycle 0, I focused on individuals that have experience with working with Starbucks students. And these individuals were on my team. And going forward with cycle 1, for the participants, I would like to broaden it to include others, not just Starbucks success coaches. Okay, and then here is my innovation. So a success coach's daily work includes outreach to students based on the case assigned to that student. A case is something that is needed, that is something that needs to be resolved, such as a student is on probation. A success coach will reach out and find out ways on how to support, how to get that student off probation, come up with action plans. And then another example of a case is if a student drops a course, then of course a success coach will be reaching out to the student to come up with a plan on retaking the course and exploring different options as far as resources needed for that student to be successful in that class. So I mentioned that because there are different types of cases that success coaches are required to close out. And one of those cases is the first year student cases. These populate when a student is enrolled in ASU. So if they are accepted into ASU and enrolled, then it filters out who is a freshman, who are these students that have, this is their first year in college. It filters it out, and then those cases populate. So success coaches are required to reach out by phone one time, and then they are required to reach out on a different day by email and a text message. So after these 2 attempts, like an example would be once this case populated, a success coach could reach out on day 1, and then a success coach could reach out, 2-3 days later, and then completely close out that case. And then a lot of times what we're seeing is that a success coach does not speak to that student again, and it could be for weeks. So in my department, we are very focused on retention strategies and noticing that our first generation college students have been dropping out their first semester online or completing their first semester with unsuccessful grades. And as I explained, these cases success coaches receive with the first year students, it is a high priority, and they reach out on 2 separate occasions. However, again, students could go months without hearing from a success coach. So that's where that's a little bit of background, and it leads me to my innovation. So instead, my innovation is, instead of reaching out to incoming freshmen only 2 times throughout the whole semester, I am proposing that success coaches implement a new outreach strategy that can be called the first course touch point. And as you see here, I created the little infographic about the first course touch point. And it is 7 weeks in length, and it goes over a very structured way to reach out to the students. And you see here, the first year success coach, it's designed, of course, to facilitate structure. And I'm sorry, 6 weeks, yes, but I'm mentioning, sorry, it's 7 weeks long, but there are a few areas in there where you see there's no outreach attempt, so apologize about that. So it is the 7-week structure, and it is allowing it's allowing extra outreach attempts to enable engagement and support. And the outreach, of course, will be structured. And the hope is this will help first generation college students engage with success coaches more regularly. And again, in hopes that these individual students receive support that they need to help them persist in the next semester. And so the theories, there were 2 big theories that I focused on during this research. And one is the resiliency theory. The resiliency focuses on the process and the outcome of an individual that successfully manages a challenging experience. Resiliency does not have one definition, it has many purposes. And as you can see here, there's a few different definitions. The first one is the ability to cope with adversity and overcome the most challenging circumstances. And the second one is the developable capacity to rebound or bounce back from adversity, conflict, and failure, or even positive events, progress, and increased responsibility. So it's the adversity with these individuals facing, it could be like a loss of a loved one, it could be an illness, it could be poverty, it could be abuse, lack of support. There's so many different adversities that individuals face. So resiliency is when that individual adapts to the change or the challenges in their life by coping with these, these tragic events here. And the second one is self-efficacy. Like the resiliency theory, there are many definitions of self-efficacy. And it was first defined by psychologist Albert Bandura in 1977. And it is a person's particular set of beliefs that determine how well one can execute a plan of action in prospective situations. And another definition is the belief in innate skills means valuing one's specific set of psychological feature strengths. It involves determination and perseverance to beat obstacles that may interfere with utilizing these innate skills to realize goals. So it's an individual's belief in their own ability to succeed in specific situations. So this could mean, believing in yourself, which leads to determination and perseverance. And every person has different self-efficacy levels. People with lower self-efficacy levels may feel depressed, they may feel stressed, frustrated, when faced with different situations. And individuals with high self-efficacy often experience confidence. A lot of times they are calmer when they're facing challenging situations or activities. Self-efficacy impacts a person's confidence in their motivation and behavior. And self-efficacy impacts a person's goals for themselves and the effort they put towards that goal. So believing in oneself, like believing in yourself, your ability to be successful in specific situation impacts how individuals think. So those were the two guiding theories for my problem of practice. And then here we are with some questions and different opportunities. A few questions that I have, maybe I didn't put them all here, but a few driving questions here. Am I focusing on too many theories? Do I need to limit that? Because those were the top two, but I was also dabbling in the persistence theory and also like academic resilience theory, but which is a sub of the resilience theory. So there was a few different theories, but those were the two biggest ones. So going forward, I'm asking myself to narrow it down to a few theories, not focusing on that many. And so that was my question, am I focusing on too many theories? And then the second one is, what other appropriate models could be used other than the persistence model? The innovation model, the infographic, I was utilizing a persistence model as far as outreach. However, definitely wanting to explore if there's any other type of models that would benefit this. And then different opportunities, extending this research to other teams. This for cycle 0, I focused on just my team. I have a small team of 12 and 11, 12, 1 is a supervisor and 11 are success coaches. So I focused on just my team only, and I only had 3 participants. So I focused really just on success coaches that that work with Starbucks students. So my thought process was connecting with different teams, possibly not necessarily just Starbucks, my Starbucks team. There are 2 Starbucks teams. So if anything, possibly having participants from the other team also. And then 1, of course, I would like to continue to track student engagement. The student engagement information is not just readily available like on an ASU website. I have to go through supervisors that can get me that information. So I feel like focusing on that, continuing to track that. And then also creating a model, going back to that persistence model, are there any other appropriate models that would fit this better? So creating a model that can be used by other teams also within the center, because this model is very geared towards first generation college students that are Starbucks partners. They work there. That's what it's geared towards, but I feel like I would like to create a model that's easily adjusted so that other teams can use it at the Success Center and go from there. And lastly, here are my references that I use, and thank you all for watching. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present. Thank you. I don't know how to stop this. Okay. Stop sharing. Okay. And stop recording. Okay, perfect.